Waheguru Ka
Ka
Khalsa,
Khalsa,
Waheguru Ki Fateh. Mera naam Pal Jali.
I'm Ravi Suman.
Today we are in a place called Blackbush. This is in Surrey, and we have come down to a car auction.
Yes, the BCA, British Car Auctions, we're here today, and hopefully we're going to be looking at how to buy vehicles at this auction, and some of the pitfalls and some of the good points of buying at auction. Well,
there are all sorts of cars, starting from very prestige cars, which you can see here. Hopefully my cameraman will give a bit glance of the cars, and we'll go inside, have a talk with some of the officials and get more the inside how the auction works. Yes, Ravi?
absolutely, because it's freezing cold out here.
Freezing cold out here. Thank you. Right, here we're right inside the car auction premises. They have one of beautiful. Wow, which one is this one? Let's have a look at that.
Well, that vehicle is a show vehicle. It's a Porsche.
Porsche. Right,
It's a
God, look at
Porsche.
that.
It's almost brand new, a few years old, but it's a show vehicle here. But we're going to be actually going in shortly.
Well, this is the type of car they have here. They've got three channels, Ravi, A, B, and C.
Yeah.
The most expensive prestige cars go into channel A, which you know probably 60, 70, 80,000 pounds worth
Yep.
of cars. Then the C channel starts from like 100 pounds.
Yep.
So there's all sort of cars for every person, any car you're looking for. This is the place to come in.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to go through all the technical stuff that's actually required to buy a vehicle at auction. And we're going to be chaperoned by one of the organisers of the BCA here. So hopefully we're going to get a real good insight into what we're going to be looking at and how to buy this vehicle safely, conveniently, and most of all, making sure that you're buying a vehicle which is, sensibly priced and roadworthy when you take it away.
Keeping in mind that most cars, when they go on the auction, when it goes under the hammer, they will tell you, the auctioneer will tell you that this car is under warranty or it's not. But there's certain cars that don't give you a warranty on the car.
Yeah, that's right. The auctioneer, I mean, when we go in there, sometimes we can't even understand what they're actually saying.
Yeah.
They talk so fast, okay? But as you actually progress through it, okay, you start picking up little things that you need to understand. So, it's going to be...
Lastly, one advice, whenever you want to come and buy a car here, pay one or two visits just to taste it around. Don't bid, don't do nothing at all, just taste how the things work.
One of the first most important things to do is make sure you know what your budget is. Stick to that budget and don't try to be outbid by anybody. In particular, if you really want a car and somebody else wants a car also, the same vehicle, you tend to start bidding and bidding and bidding, and then you go out of your budget. And remember, there are other hidden costs. There's a few hidden costs after you've purchased the vehicle when the hammer goes down that you have to be aware of.
Which we'll talk about right inside by the reception here. I've got a young lady. We'll ask her a couple of questions. There's some leaflets here, and I think it's best if I talk to her. Good morning, madam. Can you tell us your name?
Louise.
Louise, what do you do here? Obviously, you stay at the reception, so you're probably guiding customers where to go and what to do?
Just guiding customers on where to go and what to do at the auction if they've never been before.
Okay, and what are these leaflets here?
They're just sale catalogues of today's auction, so they give a listing of all the cars that we've got going through today's sale.
Oh, all the three channels, you've got the list all here. Do people pay for that?
Private customers do, they're £9 for the complete set, or they're £3 per auction hall, but obviously if you're a trade account with us, you get them for free.
Lovely, thanks for your help.
Okay, we've just come from reception through these red doors. Okay, we're going to see some glistening cars. So let's go through and let's find out what kind of cars are behind the doors. Okay, we've just come into the prestige section of the BCA car auctions, where we're going to be actually meeting Tim Naylor, who's the head of relations for the BCA. And we're going to walk around to him now. Where Bal is with Tim Naylor, and we're going to have a chat with Tim. Bal.
Thank you, Ravi. I've got Tim Naylor here with me. I think we'll say go to him and talk to him. Good morning, sir. Tim, do you mind if I call you Tim?
You can call me Tim.
Tim, we're from Sikh channel, and basically we are doing a program called Fast Track. And this is to do anything with the car.
Sure.
The law, the land of the law, by everything like with the highway codes, anything to do with the car.
Okay.
Not like a Top Gear, but very
No,
close,
no, no.
very close. Tell me a bit more about this auction. How does this work?
Right, the auction is about selling large volumes of vehicles very quickly by what they call public call. In other words, the auctioneer is telling you what the price is. When the hammer comes down, if you're the highest bidder, you own that car.
Okay, and I see you got a lot of. How many cars go through today?
We'll have about 1,000 cars here today, and they'll be from a number of corporate sellers, so finance and leasing companies, fleet operators, dealers and motor traders, and also some members of the public use us to sell their cars as well.
The other thing, Tim, I see some of these cars, especially this this area, they're really kind of very prestigious new cars, and they must be very highly priced.
They are. I mean, we sell everything from cars worth a few £100s to hundreds of thousands of pounds. We have sold a Bugatti Veyron for £625,000 in that hall behind me. So it's as wide a price range as you can imagine.
I'm afraid to put a figure. By the time you finish the other cars going through the auction, how much money must have come through the BCA?
What today will probably be £4 or £5 million just today here. So as a whole, for the whole company, over a year, probably 4 billion.
Oh dear hell, fantastic. You have other branches here in the UK as well, haven't you?
And we're across Europe as well. We're in 13 countries across Europe.
And the other one in the UK is up in Manchester, I believe? Or?
We're in Manchester, but we're a number of locations, several locations in the Midlands. We're in Birmingham, we're in Walsall, we're in Measham, we're in 2 locations in Scotland, we're down in the West Country as well. Right across the country, wherever people want to buy and sell cars, you'll find a BCA auction.
Tim, I've been coming to this place for the last, say, must be for 25 years, and loved coming here. The first time you come in, you don't have to buy a car. It's a day out for you as well. Something for you to learn, you see how the things happen, and then eventually, when you think you're comfortable, you learn the system, how the car's going to the hammer, and that's the time one can go and bid it.
Very much so. We have some golden rules for new buyers. Come 3 or 4 times, set yourself a budget, don't go above it. Remember to hold a bit of cash back because you're buying a used car. It should have a service. You might need to do some work on it. Listen to what the auctioneer says and then bid very clearly. Raise your hand, make it very obvious. He'll see you and he'll come back to you if you want to bid again.
The other thing is very funny because every time you go to the auction hall, you can't start scratching your head or something because the auction might think.
No. We train our auctioneers in-house. They're very highly trained. We have our own training systems, and they know if someone's scratching their head and they've never seen them before, they're not going to take a bid. Don't worry. We have people waving at other people and their friends. It's common practice for us.
It's never gone wrong, is it?
Oh, I won't say it's never gone wrong. But if you didn't mean to bid, you go to the rostrum and say, "So I wasn't bidding," and they'll unwind.
Okay, we're just going to have a word with Tim now with regards to some of the pitfalls, Tim, that are prevalent when we're purchasing a vehicle from auction. A lot of people are actually apprehensive about buying at auction because they've heard some really bad stories. What were your comments regarding that?
Well, people will always be concerned if they hear what we would say are scare stories. But the truth is, if you do your homework, understand what you want to buy and know how much to pay for it, you can come to auction and get a very, very good deal. And that's the important thing. And, there's so many cars here today, don't get caught up in a bidding war. If you bid and you reach your limit, move on.
Absolutely.
There's another car coming along. It's not like we haven't got enough cars here today. About 1,000 cars. So, don't buy something just because you've got to have that, got to have it. You'll end up paying too much.
Absolutely. And we can actually accommodate every budget, really, isn't it?
Very much so, yeah. We've got cars here today from sort of late year, low mileage, so 13 and 14 registered cars, through to older part exchange, ex-dealer, ex-private cars that could be 10 or 15 years old. And there's a buyer in every sector. There's always somebody that wants to buy.
Absolutely.
So, have a good look around.
Excellent.
And please don't buy the first time you come. Get used to it. A lot of people say they don't understand what the auctioneer's saying. But if you listen carefully, you start to understand what they are telling you. And mainly it's about the price. They'll describe the car and then they will be taking bids. And you're getting the price information all the time. We also have screens. When we get in the auction hall,
Yep.
you'll see the screens, and that has the price on as well.
Absolutely, thanks, Tim. The other thing I was going to mention, none of the cars that we actually see at the moment here have a price on them.
No, they don't.
So what's the, because people are walking around not knowing what kind of price. Do we have pricing on leaflets or something so that people, when they walk in, how does it work?
Well, this is the whole beauty of auction. You don't have a sticker price.
Okay.
So it can go for as low or as high as the bidders want it to go.
Okay.
Now, generally, there are price guides that give certainly people that buy regularly the motor trade a good idea of what a car is worth. But at the end of the day, it's what you or I, if we're bidding against each other, want to pay for it.
Okay, so if I wanted to say I'm a general member of the public, which all our viewers are, they want to purchase a vehicle. They've got a budget of, say, £5,000.
Yep.
Okay. They wouldn't come into this section, would they?
Well, no, I mean, looking at the cars here today, this is our hall number one, you can see you've got a lot of top brands. You've got Mercedes, BMW and Audi just looking at us straight here in these first three lines of cars.
Yes.
So, yeah, you need to cut your budget accordingly. Okay. You're not necessarily going to be able to afford anything that you want. Okay. But, if you look at some of the cheaper, older cars, you can get a great deal.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Tim. The only last question, a lot of people say, you can buy really cheaply at auction. But you don't know, you can't drive the vehicle, you can't test drive the vehicle, you can't sort of look into the bonnet. They're the pitfalls, are they?
Well, they are for a lot of people because, if they're used to buying from a dealer, and we would recommend private buyers go to a dealer.
Okay.
Because they've got all the services and warranties and guarantees that a lot of private buyers want.
Okay.
But if you know a little bit about cars, if you understand a little bit about the used car market, you can come here and get a great deal. And remember, don't spend all your budget on the car. Save some for a service. Take it to your local dealer.
Absolutely.
And preferably your local franchise dealer. So if you've bought an Audi, take it to an Audi and let them have a good look at the car for you.
And one final thought, about saving a little bit of money when we're firstly purchasing. There are some other additional costs that we have to endure once the hammer goes down, isn't there?
That's correct. Yeah, there is a buyer's fee, which is calculated on a sliding scale depending on the value of the car you've bought.
Okay.
As you pay more for the car, that fee gets a smaller percentage. So, spend a bit more money. It's worth it.
Spend a bit more money. Okay. Well, let's move on. Thanks very much for that, Tim. Let's move on to one of the next halls, or perhaps look at the auction hall.
Tim, this is the auction number 3, is it?
Yeah, this is the number 3 hall, and in here we've got dealer part exchange cars, trade entered cars, and private entered cars. So they tend to be a little bit older, maybe more higher mileage, might not have a good history, and could have several owners. So you have the creme de la creme in hall 1. Hall 2, you get the ex-fleet cars, also very good quality, generally one owner, 3 to 5 years old. Here, we've got everything else effectively, so you've got a great choice of cheaper, good value cars.
And if I talk about this car here, Tim,
Yep.
that's about, how old is this?
That's 11 years old, so I don't know what the mileage is. Let's have a quick look at the mileage. We're saying about 80,000 miles. It's 11 years old, so 750 quid.
God, sorry, did you see that?
£750 for an 11-year-old car. Does the cup come with it?
We'll throw the cup
We'll throw the cup in.
No, but you see, this is where, if you happen to buy a car from the auction like BCA, British Car Auction, I can bet you any money, this will be a lot cheaper than going by the downtown with a dealer. Because obviously when the dealer going to put a bid on the car, he's going to look into the margin, the profit, expenses he's going to spend here, and then put in the car right, maybe do a T-card, give a polish, and 300 quid, then that money you can save buying a car yourself, save. The risk here is that you don't know what's under the bonnet.
You don't know the history of the car, obviously, because it's an older car. It's higher mileage. That mileage isn't warranted either. So in other words, we haven't got enough history to warrant the mileage.
Okay.
Maybe with that kind of price, but I'll be tempted to buy one. If you're really looking desperate for a car, you have a budget to go for, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the whole purpose of buying at auction, there are those pitfalls that me and Tim were talking earlier on about. How the upsides are a virtually cheap vehicle, really. Don't know the history as much, okay, but that's the gamble that one has to take, I suppose, Tim, isn't it?
Yeah, if you have the budget, remember, save a bit of your budget to put that car in for a service. Let the dealer then have a look at it and put anything right that might be wrong with it.
Absolutely. The other thing, Tim, I just saw as we were walking through the chambers, as they were, there were some vehicles with some damage on, bodywork damage. That would be taken in care of once when the auction is taking place. With the auctioneer actually sort of be saying,
Absolutely. We describe cars very carefully, and of course we do sell cars online now to a lot of our trade and dealer customers. So we have to describe cars very accurately. So there will be, in the online arena, there will be a full description of that car with every bit of damage mentioned.
Okay, well, thanks very much for that, Tim.
I
Paul?
think the next thing what we want to do is the two things I like to do. We'll go down to the Channel A,
Yeah.
which is the cream of best cars.
Yeah.
And then I think Tim will ask him kindly if he can take us to the Channel A and see actually how the auction happens.
Absolutely, actually how a car is actually sold and how people are bidding for the vehicle.
Happy to do that.
Now,
Thank
this is my baby. Caught my eyes. There are plenty cars, all prestige cars. Honestly, you will not be able to make up your mind. The only way to make up your mind is your budget, really. David, what do you say?
Absolutely. Obviously, stick to your budget. Okay, you'll see these stickers on all these vehicles around us. Okay, they give you information about the vehicle, the age of the vehicle, the engine size, and the capacities, MOTs. They'll give you certain information. There's no price actual on the vehicle, so you will need a price guide from outside, from Auto Trader or from a leading sort of supplier, so we actually get an idea of the cost of the vehicle before it goes into the auction
you get
itself.
the whole history, the mileage, the service-wise, how many owners, and etc., etc. Buying a car from Channel 1 in this auction, I don't think can go wrong, because obviously it comes with the warranty as well.
Absolutely. Obviously, in Channel 1, there are newer cars, okay? And if you actually have a look at the actual mechanical report of this vehicle, it's quite comprehensive. It actually tells you in the engine bay what's okay and what's not quite okay. There's ticked boxes on here, how the engine is running, what the interior checks have been made, and the dynamic operations of the vehicle itself. For instance, what the clutch and the take-up of the engine,
It's all there.
it's all there. The air intake, it's all comprehensively technical information given on these little stickers on here. So do take time to actually have a read of these stickers before you actually go forward and buy.
The important thing now here is, I think we showed enough of the cars, Channel 1, 2 and 3. I think it would be nice if the authorities let us do a little recording inside where they actually go under the hammer.
Absolutely, that's the most exciting thing, because once we've actually decided which car we want to go for, so if you want to go for this car, obviously it's going to run through the auction bay, and then the bidders are going to start bidding, and the auctioneer will actually describe the vehicle quite accurately as he possibly can, and then as the bidding goes on, sometimes it becomes quite frenzied, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Ravi, I'm quite excited. Honestly, I have a car. If I didn't, I probably would have bought one today. Honestly, I swear.
Well, if I had the money, I would have bought one today.
Mercedes coming in now. This is a 2006 registered car, and you can hear the auctioneer. He's actually describing what is in the catalogue. So he's telling you what the car is, what age it is, whether there's any warranties on it. And now it's on sale. You can see on the screen the price. It's gone up again, up to 1,600 now. And all you're getting now is the auctioneer is trying to get more bids from the hall.
Okay, so
Up to 1,800.
so all these people are actually bidding for that vehicle at the moment, yeah?
Well, some of them will be, some of them won't be.
Now, was that vehicle sold?
Yeah, that vehicle was sold for £1,825.
Tim, this is my car. I'd love to see how much this is going to go for.
This is a very nice car, isn't it? This is the Mercedes 4-door. Let's have a look. It's 10 years old. There, £5,000.
My God.
up to 5.2. And there's a lot of interest. We can see a few guys bidding down there. Haven't had any online bidders yet, which is interesting. Maybe some will come in a little later.
It tells you all whether this is online bidding.
Yes, it does. 5,000.
Oh my God.
That's a good car, isn't it? Very elegant.
We'll have a look at this BMW, how much is it going to go for?
Again, a very popular model, the BMW. You're going to get a lot of interest in these cars. Not quite as old, 8 years old, but 6.5. Probably pushed towards 7,000 by the end.
6.5.
6.5. Again, very good price. Interesting. We've got the Land Rover Discovery now. It's got a little bit damaged. There's a bit of trim missing on this side, we can see. 11-year-old car. It's not going to take you a lot to put that car right, but you've got a lot of car for the money. A lot of car for the money.
Well, Tim, this one is really holding its price, isn't it?
It's doing very well. Particularly as it has a little bit of damage on the side there. £6,800 for an 11-year-old car. That's a very strong price performance. Now this should be a cheapie, but there you go, 2008, look at that. Even with the damage at the back, with the back windscreen missing. I think it had a shunt at the rear. Look at that price, 3,200.
It is
That's a Volkswagen brand for you, very strong.
It's a 57 plate, damage at the back, you know, 8 years old, but they hold their prices. The smaller cars hold their prices, don't they?
They do. Everyone's very cost conscious these days, very concerned about the cost of motoring, and those little hatchbacks are very, very attractive to buyers.
There's a 12-year-old car.
No, look at the price.
Again, great value, isn't it?
It's quite shocking value, actually. You know, I'm quite shocked. And, you know, certainly the viewers are going to be looking at these vehicles.
Again, come back to the cost of motoring. That's quite an expensive car to run, that BMW X5. So that's probably what has affected that.
Absolutely.
And it was 12 years old.
And that is reflected in the price because they're petrol guzzlers, aren't they?
Yeah, they're very thirsty compared to a lot of the cars you have today.
There's a Peugeot 206. £1,700, Tim, for that. It's a 07 model.
Again, good value. I mean, if somebody had just passed their test, they'd be happy to sit in a car like that, and you paid less than £2,000 for it.
Absolutely, it looked quite clean as well. We've just come out the auction hall now. It was quite a splendid experience, Paul, for me. Haven't been here very often, and it was quite exhilarating to see vehicles of really good quality going through the chambers really, really fast.
And every few seconds, wasn't what? Few minutes, really.
It's 1 a minute. Tim said it was 1 a minute, and more than that, the prices were absolutely unbelievable.
Amazing
pricing, good value for money on all occasions.
All I can say in the end is, honestly, you need to come down here and have a good try. Don't have to buy a car, but it will be a day out and a good experience to learn about how the cars go under the auction.
Absolutely, Bal. We've been here. We've had a wonderful time. It's been a little bit cold, okay, but we'll see you all next week. Stay tuned in. We'll have a lot more exhilarating stuff like this for you next time.
Something different and something totally interesting. I hope you enjoyed this one, and we look forward to see you next week. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.